Good morning everyone. Welcome to Arpita Sharma classes. I am Arpita Sharma and I am going to decode and analyze the Hindu newspaper for today, that is 7th May 2020. आप सभी का स्वागत है अर्पिता शर्मा क्लासेस में। आज हम 7th May 2020 का द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर एनालाइज करेंगे। Here's a small announcement for all of you. If you wish to download the class PDFs, you can join my Telegram channel Simplifying UPSC with Ease and you can download the class PDFs. Important notifications about my free courses, live courses on Unacademy Plus are also mentioned on my Telegram channel. They are notified in my Telegram channel. The link is given below in the description box. Description box में आपको link भी दिया हुआ है. नाम है Telegram channel का Simplifying UPSC with Ease. Let's start without any delay. Also, here's a small announcement. I'm taking two important courses on Unacademy Plus, Art and Culture Crash Course and Revising Current Affairs through MCQs. You can use my referral code Sharma20 to get 10% discount on Unacademy Plus. The first important news, hacker sees security flaws in Arogya Setu. So there's this ethical hacker, that is Mr. Robert, who has alleged that there are security flaws in the coronavirus tracking app Arogya Setu. Because of these flaws, he was able to see that 5 people at PMO and 2 at Army headquarters were unwell. He was able to know who is infected, who is unwell, and he made a self-assessment in the area of his choice. Basically, he was able to see if someone was sick at PMO or Indian Parliament. He was able to see if someone was sick in a specific house if he wanted to. So this ethical hacker took to Twitter to warn the government, to caution the government that a security issue had been found in the app. Arogya Setu app government कह रही है कि पूरी तरीके से सिक्योर है, कोई डेटा लीकेज नहीं होगा, किसी तरीके का डेटा ब्रीच नहीं होगा. बट ये जो एथिकल हैकर हैं, इन्होंने ये कहा है कि इस ऐप में एक ऐसा सिक्योरिटी इशू आ गया है जिसके कारण वो किसी भी घर में, अगर वो चाहे किसी भी एरिया में, किसी भी घर में जान सकते हैं कि कोई अनवेल है या नहीं, किसी को कोरोना वायरस है या नहीं. वो ये भी जान सकते हैं कि इंडियन पार्लियामेंट में या प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफिस में कोई सिक है या नहीं, कोई बीमार है या नहीं. He also warned that privacy of 90 million Indians is at stake. उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि इस ऐप के कारण, ये सिक्योरिटी फ्लॉ जो इस ऐप में है, इसकी वजह से 90 मिलियन इंडियंस भारतीय ऐसे हैं जिनकी सिक्योरिटी, जिनकी प्राइवेसी जो है, डिजिटल सिक्योरिटी जो है, वो अभी रिस्क में है. Ethical hacker also said that there are security flaws and he called for making the application source code open. The French hacker had said that a user can get COVID-19 statistics displayed on the home screen by changing the radius and latitude-longitude using a script. It noted that the application fetched a user's location and stored it on a server in a secure, encrypted, anonymized manner. At the time of registration, time of self-assessment, when the user submits his or her contact tracing data voluntarily through the app, everything can be fetched about that person. So this is a major issue which is coming up right now. Government के जो claims है वो गलत साबित हो रहे हैं इधर कि ये app पूरी तरीके से secure है. Now this is one important editorial in today's newspaper, resuscitating multilateralism with India's help. Now this particular editorial talks about post-war multilateral order. आपको ये एडिटोरियल जीएस पेपर 2 के पर्सपेक्टिव से पढ़ना है. यू हैव टू रीड दिस एडिटोरियल फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ जीएस पेपर 2. Even as the coronavirus pandemic unleashes its devastation across the globe, the great and the good have been quick to remind us of the value of multilateralism and the necessity to preserve it. And yes, they are right. To reduce the further spread of the virus, to develop effective medical treatments, and to curtail, to stop the worst effects of the inevitable recession that is already in the offing, cooperation among nations will be necessary. Basically, this editorial says that if you want to help the economy grow, if you want to stop the worldwide recession to happen or to contain that recession, you have to collaborate and cooperate with the world nations, all the nations, and work together in this pandemic. अब इस एडिटोरियल का कहना यह है कि ये महामारी ऐसी है जो कि एक किसी नेशन या किसी कंट्री को इफेक्ट नहीं कर रही, ये पूरी दुनिया को अपनी जकड़ में ले रही है. और सिर्फ हेल्थ वाइज नहीं, इकोनॉमी वाइज भी ये बीमारी, ये महामारी जो है सबको अपने कब्जे में कर रही है. इसके लिए अभी सभी नेशंस के पास नीड ऑफ द आवर ये है कि सभी मिलजुल कर कोलैबोरेटिव एफर्ट के साथ काम करें. The underpinning assumption of post-war multilateral system was that peace and prosperity went hand in hand. Some like-mindedness and commonly held purpose were also assumed among members. Increasing economic integration and shared prosperity would help enhance these affinities and contribute to peace. Countries with fundamentally different domestic system of governance did not form part of this multilateral order. And this was also the case with the Soviet bloc when the Cold War was going on. Right? जो countries जिनके बहुत ही ज़्यादा fundamental domestic system, different domestic system है, different governance order है, वो countries और बाकी nations के साथ मिलजुल कर काम करना उनके लिए tough हो जाएगा, जैसे कि सोवियत ब्लॉक के साथ हुआ था कोल्ड वॉर के एरा में. None of our multilateral institutions was built for a world where the ties of interdependence, which were supposed to enhance the well-being of all, could themselves be weaponized for nationalistic gain at the expense of other players. The existing rules, the misuse of those existing rules by several countries like China to gain an unfair advantage in trade relations was already attracting critique in the recent years. But the pandemic has provided some alarming illustrations of how damaging the weaponization of global supply chains can be. So the issues or the concerns which have been highlighted in this editorial is the pandemic has increased the crisis of multilateralism. It has not created it. Multilateralism अभी भी था existence में इस pandemic से, इस महामारी से पहले. राइट सबके अपने अपने डिफरेंट अप्रोच थे, सब अपनी अपनी बात को सही मानकर आगे चल रहे थे सभी नेशंस. बट इस महामारी ने इस अप्रोच को और बढ़ा दिया है. Amidst the many cracks in the system, it has deepened one especially dangerous fault line, that is multilateralism. It is incapable of dealing with misuse by systemic rivals. As the death rolls are increasing, many countries responded with export restrictions on critical medical supplies. जैसे जैसे महामारी के कारण डेथ केसेस बढ़ते गए, वैसे वैसे कंट्रीज ने मेडिकल सप्लाईज के एक्सपोर्ट पर रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगाना शुरू कर दिया. Because of this, one major issue has been highlighted, that there is absence of adequate stocks within the countries. Recognizing the shortage that countries were facing, the mask, the personal protective equipment, that is the PPE, ventilators, to deal with COVID-19, China offered to sell these products to countries in need. For example, when European Union put up export restrictions, China stepped in at Serbia's request. So basically, countries are gaining unfair advantage also. अगर हम सब मिलकर काम नहीं करेंगे, तो कुछ countries हैं जो इसका cost बढ़ा के unfair advantage हमारे से लेंगी. Right? Clear everyone? Alright. Next important editorial is everyone wants a good stimulus. The editorial talks about expectation around a good stimulus package deal in the backdrop of deep uncertainty and contraction in economic activity due to COVID-19 pandemic. This editorial highlights the options, suggestions and constraints in designing the ideal stimulus package for the economy. There is this rampant belief that a fiscal stimulus package has to follow the timeline. So it has to be understood that economy cannot be stimulated during a supply side lockdown. जब supply chain ही बंद है हमारी, तो हम कोई भी economy ऐसा stimulus सामने नहीं रख सकती जो supply side lockdown के बावजूद भी एक positive push दे पाए हमें. There are announcement effects, both good and bad, that go with the stimulus. So government revenues too will be seriously hit. Right now this will be anywhere from 2 to 3% of GDP. जैसे कि हम disinvestment target देख रहे हैं जो 1% है GDP का. Right, the effective fiscal deficit is going to be around 7.5%. Now while highlighting the fact that US government has set aside $2 trillion for bailouts or 9% of its GDP, it must be understood that India cannot afford such a big stimulus package. Why? Because our GDP fiscal deficit is going around somewhere 7.5%. तो हम इतना बड़ा, जैसे US government ने $2 trillion का bailout साइड में रखा है, हम इतना बड़ा economic stimulus अभी देने के हालत में नहीं है. It may be worthwhile to bear in mind that from 1947, since the time we gained independence, to 1997, central government always routinely monetized the deficit without leading to high rates of inflation. The FRBM limits are hardly a grand success. अगर हम FRBM की लिमिट्स भी देखें जो सेट करती है गवर्नमेंट, उससे भी कुछ ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता. There is a lot of liquidity in the economy, but limited credit is flowing due to anemic lending. Lending में कमी है, चाहे liquidity ज़्यादा इकोनॉमी में. The lending is restricted, that is why limited credit is flowing क्रेडिट पूरी तरीके से नहीं है हमारी इकोनॉमी में. There is a talk of going to IMF right now. It is worth pondering if approaching the IMF is a good idea or not when there is no foreign exchange crisis for financing rupee expenditure. So finally concluding this editorial, the author says fate must not be confused with destiny. Fate is what happens to us. Destiny is what we make in spite of our fate. देखो यहाँ पर फेट और डेस्टिनी की बात जब आती है इकोनॉमी में तो हमें दोनों को कंफ्यूज नहीं करना चाहिए. फेट वो है जो हमारे साथ होता है, डेस्टिनी वो है जो फेट होना जो हमारे साथ होना है उसके बावजूद भी हम चेंज कर दें, कोर्स ऑफ फेट को चेंज कर दें अपने एफर्ट से, उसको हम डेस्टिनी बोलते हैं. India's destiny appears relatively safe right now if the mind's eye is cast around the globe. Lifting lockdown will be the first step towards a good stimulus. पहले लॉकडाउन अगर हटे, सप्लाई साइड चेन खुले, तब जाकर इकोनॉमी को एक पॉजिटिव बूस्ट मिलेगा. Darbar move fosters unity in J&K, says NC. National Conference pitched for the continuation of Darbar move, which is the biannual shifting of capital of Jammu and Kashmir. The Jammu and Kashmir High Court has asked the Centre and Union Territory Administration to take a final call on continuation of 148-year-old practice of shifting capitals annually between Srinagar and Jammu, which burdens the exchequer. So what is Darbar move? It's a biannual movement of Darbar between Jammu and Srinagar. Right, from May to October, governmental offices are placed in state's summer capital, which is Srinagar, and the other 6 months it is in the winter capital, that is in Jammu. And this is a 148-year-old practice which was started by Dogra monarch in 1872. So this was all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's class. If you really enjoyed it, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, share this video with other aspirants, and like the video as well. Thank you and have a beautiful day ahead.